look, this stuff isn't perfect. I do worry that the magic, that people are being sold, buying magic
Yeah.
beans. And it's like people next year will go, well, that didn't work, and then you blame teachers and you say, well, these teachers never adopt these new technologies. And it's like, if I were a teacher in one of these revolving door schools where, somebody gets a bright idea and this week's it's 3D printers and next week you're supposed to like teach with your hair on fire or teach with a, pirate, and all of these methods are fine. I don't have anything. I will never, never criticize a teacher for looking at their practice and thinking about what they're doing. And I don't care what framework they decide to use. They're doing something, right? But if a teacher is in one of these revolving door schools where it's like, all I have to do is wait and some other new, thing will show up, why would they ever put their heart and soul into some new technology? I completely understand. I do not blame teachers for like not adopting this fast enough. This stuff is all like new and old. That's the fun part. It's like I'm not sitting here saying that all this maker stuff is this brand new thing that you should try. It's like, no, it connects deeply to exactly the right things, the things we know about learning, that if you read John Dewey, John Holt, Maria Montessori, Piaget, Seymour Papert, all these people said exactly the same thing. I mean, kids doing real things that matter to them. I see it in a lot of places. I think a lot of teachers have really jumped in on this and are doing amazing things. The people who are able to do it and document it are amazing. I mean, I don't know when they get time to do all these things, but there are definitely some schools, and it's not all rich independent schools. People think that this is some sort of private school thing that only private schools can afford it, but that's not true. There are some amazing community maker spaces that are bringing in kids from the neighborhood. Libraries are doing this. Museums are doing this. I think people are taking the best of what they've always done, especially if they have progressive roots, if they're a project-based learning school, if they've been using the project approach, if the museum has a discovery center. Well, why can't you do dress up and do sewable electronics? Do, Play-Doh and squishy circuit dough. I think when people, a lot of time, we have our Constructing Modern Knowledge. We do a 4-day summer institute. And we try and bring in speakers from outside of the electronic computer kind of, field. And, people like Deborah Meyer, who's, a award-winning MacArthur genius, very progressive educator. When she came, she looked at it, went, yep, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is about democracy. It's about giving kids voice. It's about agency. It's about respecting the professionalism of teachers. And I don't care if it's an LED or or poetry. A lot of people, think it's just about robots, but it's not. It's about agency. It's about discovery. It's about teacher empowerment as much as student empowerment. You can't have empowered students without empowered teachers. Well, I think that the uh, some of the latest discussion among the people who are doing maker spaces is how to be more inclusive, how to make sure that these spaces aren't just for the kids who already are, or the ones who will sort of run in and do it by themselves. And it's like, well, it's good for them, but then everyone else is kind of like, it's not for me. I don't care about robots and stuff like that. So I think the work being done for inclusion, and not just, I'm not just talking about gender. I'm not just talking about getting girls in the door, but that's a good thing. But minority students who are the academic, the academic superstars. It's not this. This should never be like a gifted thing where only certain kids get to, do it maybe after their real work is done or something like that. Um, I think that kind of work is spectacular, and the what happens when a kid exceeds everyone's expectations, including their own, is just a miracle. And you know, when I talk to kids and they say, I see the world differently. They sound like artists. They sound like engineers, because that's how people who know they can make a difference talk. And when you give that to a child and reinforce that, not just in, you know, once a week or once a month, but every day with every subject, I think we have to do this, and we have to push back against people who are telling us that teaching is about, you know, reading a script to kids or kids clicking on stuff. We have to push back with these great examples that exist out there, and not say, oh, well, yeah, a few people do it, but, you know, it's not real. It's real. It's happening.